All right, let's dive into the world of academia,
Oh, yeah.
and specifically, what it takes to become a professor.
Sounds good.
We're going to be looking at an article from Jarrod Kanizay,
Okay.
the CEO of academicjobs.com.
Yeah.
He lays out kind of what it's like to be a professor.
Right.
And we're going to try to uncover some of the hidden perks,
Yeah.
some of the maybe not so obvious challenges, and really just what it takes to thrive
Absolutely.
in this unique career path.
You know, it's funny. People often picture professors as kind of stuck in the ivory tower with their heads in the clouds, kind of detached from
Yeah.
the real world.
Right.
But the reality is much more dynamic than that.
I think that's right. And Kanizay gets into this.
Yeah.
He gives 12 reasons why someone might be drawn to the professor lifestyle.
Mm.
And some of them are pretty obvious, like job security,
Right.
the ability to share knowledge. But then he gets into some really interesting points.
Oh, yeah.
For example, sabbaticals.
Right.
These aren't just like a year off.
Yeah.
These are dedicated time for research, for writing, even for international collaborations.
Imagine spending a semester in Rome studying Renaissance art firsthand.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's not just a vacation. That's strategic career development.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds amazing, but let's get real for a second.
Sure.
He also mentions flexibility and independence.
Right.
What does that actually look like
Yeah.
day to day?
Well, it's true that you have a lot of autonomy as a professor. You set your own research agenda, you design your own courses. You often even have flexibility in your schedule. But the
Right.
flip side is intense responsibility.
Oh,
You're juggling research, you're juggling teaching, administrative tasks,
okay.
maybe even grant writing.
Wow.
It takes serious self-discipline to manage all of that.
So you're not just pondering big ideas
Right.
and you're off it all day.
Definitely not.
Which leads to another interesting point,
Yeah.
continued learning.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds great, but does that ever feel like pressure
Yeah.
to constantly stay ahead of the curve?
Well, there's definitely truth to that, especially in rapidly evolving fields.
Yeah.
You're constantly having to read new research, attend conferences, even learning entirely new skills just to stay relevant. And it can be demanding, but
Yeah.
that's also what keeps things so exciting.
So it's like you're always in school,
Yeah.
even when you're the one teaching.
There is some truth to that.
Yeah, that's fun.
I remember one time I had to teach myself
Oh,
a
wow.
whole new statistical modeling technique
Really?
just to kind of keep up with the latest developments in my field.
Wow.
It was a steep learning curve, but it was incredibly rewarding.
I could see that. Yeah, that would definitely keep you on your toes.
It does.
Okay, so we've talked kind of big picture appeal of academia,
Mm-hmm.
but before we all rush off to quit our jobs and write dissertations,
Right.
I think we need to maybe break down the different types of professor roles.
Yeah, absolutely.
It turns out it's not just one straight path to the front of the lecture hall.
It's not just one size fits all, no.
Kanizay actually outlines 5 distinct
Yeah.
academic roles.
He does.
5, I had no idea.
It's a lot.
So much variety.
Huh.
Let's start with the classic professor.
Okay.
What does that actually entail? How do you even get there?
Well, it's not as simple as just getting hired as professor.
Okay.
It's more like a tiered system.
Okay.
You start as an assistant professor,
Okay.
then you move up to associate professor, and then finally you reach the coveted full professor level.
Wow, so it's like leveling up
It is.
in a video game.
Kind of.
Okay, interesting.
And each stage comes with its own set of expectations in terms of research, teaching, and service to the institution.
So there's a clear hierarchy.
Yes.
Okay, what about that first step, the
Okay.
graduate teaching assistant?
Yeah.
That's where a lot of aspiring academics get their first taste of teaching, right?
Often, yes.
I'll admit I had a TA in college
Yeah.
who seemed totally lost
Oh, no.
in the subject, and it kind of made me question the whole system a little bit. But
Well, the TA experience can vary wildly, to be honest.
okay.
It really depends on the program and the individual.
Sure.
For many, it's a trial by fire.
Oh.
You're learning to teach at the same time you're tackling your own graduate coursework.
Wow.
But it can be incredibly formative.
Okay.
You're mentoring students,
Mhm.
you're refining your teaching style, and you're even sometimes learning from their perspective.
Oh, interesting.
It's definitely a stepping stone, and those early teaching experiences really can shape
Okay.
your approach to academia.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, what about the adjunct professor route?
Okay.
I hear that's a more flexible option,
It is.
but what are the trade-offs?
Well, adjunct positions do offer a lot of flexibility.
Okay.
which can be appealing if you're balancing other commitments or you're exploring different career paths. You typically teach your courses, and that's it.
Oh,
The downside is that these positions are often part-time,
right.
with limited benefits and less job security compared to the tenure track.
So less stability.
Right, you might be hopping between institutions,
Oh, wow.
teaching night classes, constantly hustling for that next gig.
So it's a trade-off
Yes.
between freedom and stability.
Exactly.
Okay, we've got the different levels figured out.
Right.
But let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Oh.
Salary.
Yes.
Kanizay throws out a national average for professors,
Yeah.
but he also mentions it varies
Oh, it varies a lot.
a lot.
Yes.
What factors actually play into that?
Well, salary in academia is
Okay.
influenced by a complex web of factors.
Yeah.
Your field of study, your years of experience,
Right.
the type of institution, public versus private,
Oh, yeah.
research-focused versus teaching-focused,
Makes sense.
geographic location.
Oh, wow.
All of these can have a significant impact on your earning potential.
So it's not just about how smart you are
Right.
or how much you publish. Your location matters too.
It really does.
That's wild.
For example, a computer science professor
Yeah.
at a top tech university in California
Okay.
might command a significantly higher salary than, say, a literature professor at
Yeah.
a small liberal arts college
Yeah.
in the Midwest.
Right. Yeah.
And that's not even considering factors like grant funding or consulting opportunities,
Oh, wow.
which can add considerably to a professor's income.
Wow. It's a lot more nuanced
It is.
than I realized.
Yeah.
But money isn't everything, right?
Right.
What about the other benefits
Well, that's a great point.
that come with being a professor?
Universities often offer very comprehensive benefits packages,
Okay.
including health insurance, retirement plans,
Uh-huh.
and sometimes even tuition remission for family members.
Wow.
And for those entering academia with student loan debt,
Right.
there are loan forgiveness programs
Oh, wow.
available for certain positions.
Okay, I'm starting to see the appeal.
Yeah.
It's not just about the paycheck.
Right.
There's a whole package of benefits
Absolutely.
that can make this path financially viable.
Mm.
But I have a feeling there's more to it
Oh, there's definitely more to it.
than just the tangible rewards.
The true rewards of academia often go beyond the financial.
Yeah.
It's about intellectual stimulation. It's about the freedom to pursue your passions, the chance to mentor the next generation of thinkers.
Hold that thought. I think we need a whole separate deep dive
You probably do.
to unpack those intangible rewards.
Yeah,
We've covered a lot of ground in this first part,
we have.
but there's so much more to explore
Indeed, we've only just begun to scratch the surface.
of what it means to be a professor.
Absolutely.
We'll be back soon with part 2,
Okay.
where we'll delve into the challenges, the triumphs,
Yeah,
and the true meaning of a life dedicated to academia.
sounds great. Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of academia.
Last time we talked about some of the perks of being a professor, like sabbaticals, intellectual freedom,
Yeah.
but no career is without its downsides, right?
Yeah, it's true.
So what are we up against here?
Well, one of the biggest hurdles you'll encounter in academia is the pressure to publish.
Oh, okay.
It's often called publish or perish.
Oh, I've heard that.
And while that might sound a bit dramatic, it really reflects the pressure
Yeah.
to constantly produce research and get it published in top-tier journals.
So it's not enough to just be a great teacher
No,
or even like a brilliant mind.
it's not enough.
You have to be a publishing powerhouse.
Essentially, yes, especially at research-focused universities.
Okay.
Your publication record is a major factor in hiring, promotions, and tenure decisions.
It's like your resume.
It really is.
Interesting.
It's seen as evidence of your productivity, your impact on the field, and your ability to secure grant funding.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But what about those who are truly passionate about teaching? About shaping young minds?
Mhm.
Does that work kind of get overshadowed
It's a valid concern.
in this publish or perish environment?
The emphasis on research can sometimes overshadow the importance of teaching,
Okay.
especially at institutions that prioritize research output above all else.
Right.
However, teaching excellence is still highly valued,
Okay.
particularly at smaller liberal arts colleges where the focus is more on undergraduate education.
Right.
And even at larger universities,
Yeah.
there are opportunities for faculty to excel as educators,
Okay.
to develop innovative teaching methods, and to build those strong mentoring relationships with students.
So it's not just about publishing groundbreaking research.
Yeah.
It's about finding the right environment
Absolutely.
where your strengths and passions are valued.
It's about knowing yourself and what kind of academic culture
Right.
will best support your goals.
Makes sense. Speaking of goals, Kanizay also mentions opportunities
Yeah.
beyond the classroom, like speaking at conferences,
Right.
doing consulting work. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it can be.
It's like the academic version of hitting the road.
Presenting your research at conferences allows you to share your findings with colleagues from around the world,
That's awesome.
to network with other scholars, and potentially even spark new collaborations.
Wow.
And consulting work can be a way to apply your expertise to real-world problems and challenges, which can be both intellectually stimulating and financially rewarding.
So there's a world outside the ivory tower.
There
It's not all dusty books and lecture halls.
Absolutely. And that connection between academia and the broader world is becoming increasingly important.
Right.
There's a growing emphasis on knowledge translation,
What's that?
taking academic research and translating it into practical solutions that can benefit society.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Knowledge translation.
It makes the work feel more tangible, more impactful.
For sure.
Right.
Okay, but let's be honest, not every day in academia
Of course.
is filled with these groundbreaking discoveries in international conferences.
Oh.
What about the day-to-day grind?
Yes.
The grading, the administrative tasks, the endless emails?
The less glamorous aspects of academic life.
For sure.
It's true. There's a lot of paperwork, a lot of meetings.
Yeah.
And yes, a lot of grading. It can be tedious. It can be time-consuming. And honestly, sometimes even a little soul-crushing.
So you're not sugarcoating it.
No, I'm not.
There are definitely downsides.
There are, but even with all of the challenges, academia can be incredibly rewarding.
Okay.
It offers a level of intellectual freedom and autonomy that's hard to find in other careers. And the opportunity to shape young minds, to spark curiosity and a love of learning, that's a privilege that many academics find deeply fulfilling.
So it's about finding that balance.
It is.
Weighing the challenges against the rewards and figuring out if it's right for you.
It's about fit.
Speaking of fit, let's talk about tenure.
Okay.
It's like the holy grail of academia.
It is often seen as the pinnacle of an academic career.
Right. It's like the ultimate job security.
Yes, it provides job security, academic freedom,
Okay.
and the ability to pursue long-term research projects without the fear of losing your position.
Right.
But the path to tenure is long and it's demanding.
Okay.
It typically involves 6 or 7 years
Wow.
of rigorous evaluation, including your teaching, your research output, and your service to the institution.
So it's a marathon.
It is, not a sprint. Exactly, and not everyone crosses the finish line.
Oh, okay. So not everyone gets tenure.
That's right. Tenure is not guaranteed.
Wow.
It's a highly competitive process,
Yeah.
and only a select few achieve it.
Right.
But for those who do, it represents a significant milestone
Sure.
in their academic journey.
Okay. So we've got the tenure track laid out.
Yeah.
But what about those who maybe choose a different path?
That's an important point.
The adjunct professors, the visiting scholars, the researchers who aren't necessarily in these traditional faculty roles.
Academia is evolving,
Okay.
and there are now many alternative paths to contributing to knowledge creation and dissemination.
That's interesting.
Adjunct positions, as we talked about, offer flexibility,
Right.
while research positions allow individuals to really focus on specific projects or areas of expertise.
So it's no longer one size fits all.
It's not, which is a good thing.
Okay.
It means there's more space for diverse perspectives and
Yeah.
career goals within academia.
So there's room for everyone who's passionate about learning and knowledge,
Absolutely.
even if they don't fit that traditional mold.
Yes, and that diversity of roles and career paths
Yeah.
is what keeps academia so vibrant and dynamic.
Okay.
There's room for those who are primarily driven by teaching,
Yeah.
those who are passionate about research,
All right.
and those who want to apply their knowledge to solve real-world problems.
Interesting. It's not about climbing a single ladder. It's about finding your own unique path
Exactly.
within this vast intellectual ecosystem.
I love that.
I'm starting to see the bigger picture.
I hope so.
It's not just about the title or the salary.
It's not.
It's about finding your place within this world,
Right.
contributing your unique skills and passions to the pursuit of knowledge.
Beautifully said. And that brings us to a crucial question.
Okay.
For anyone considering a career in academia,
What's that?
what are your motivations?
Oh, good question.
What drives you?
I think it's easy to get caught up in the prestige,
It is.
the intellectual stimulation, the idea of being a professor. But it's important to dig deeper than that and
Absolutely.
really understand what truly motivates you.
Yes. What makes you tick?
What makes you tick?
If you are driven by a genuine desire to learn, to teach, to research, to contribute to your field,
Right.
then academia can be an incredibly rewarding and fulfilling career.
Okay.
But it's not for the faint of heart.
I can imagine.
It requires passion, resilience,
Right.
and a deep commitment to the pursuit of knowledge.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground,
We should
from the different types of professor roles
Yeah,
to the challenges and rewards of academic life.
right.
But before we wrap up this part,
Sure.
I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier,
Okay.
the importance of finding the right fit.
Oh, yeah.
How can someone figure out which type of institution
That's a fantastic question.
or academic environment?
And one that deserves careful consideration.
Yeah.
It's about self-reflection.
Okay.
Understanding your strengths, your priorities,
Fine.
and what you ultimately want to achieve in your academic career.
Hmm.
Do you thrive in a collaborative, research-intensive environment?
Huh?
Or do you prefer a smaller, teaching-focused setting
Right.
where you can build closer relationships with students?
It's a big difference.
It is.
I think it's also important to consider your field of study.
Yes, absolutely.
Certain fields might be more competitive than others,
All right.
or might require different types of research facilities.
Exactly. The academic landscape varies greatly from
Mm.
field to field, so it's essential to do your research, talk to professors in your field,
Okay.
and explore different types of institutions to see where you might best fit in.
That's a good point. And don't be afraid to think outside the box.
Yes.
There are so many different ways to contribute to academia,
There are.
even if it's not through a traditional tenure track position.
That's a key takeaway.
Okay.
Academia is evolving,
Yeah.
and there are more opportunities than ever for those who are passionate
Right.
about knowledge and its impact on the world.
I think we've given our listeners a lot to chew on for now.
We have.
Stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive,
Okay.
where we'll explore practical tips and resources
Sounds
for
good.
those who are ready to take the next step
All right.
on their academic journey. Welcome back to our final part of our academic adventure.
It's been quite a journey.
We've gone through the ins and outs of becoming a professor,
We have.
the highs, the lows, the different paths you can take.
Yeah.
But let's get practical for a second.
Okay.
What advice would you give to someone who's really considering
All right.
taking the plunge?
I always say be realistic.
Okay.
Academia is a demanding world. It's not just a job.
Right.
It's a lifestyle.
A lifestyle.
Long hours, intense competition,
Yeah.
constant pressure to publish.
Right.
You have to be prepared for the reality of it.
Not just the romantic ideal.
Exactly.
So beyond just kind of mental preparation,
Right.
what concrete steps should someone take
Well,
to kind of get ready for this journey?
start by building a rock-solid foundation
Okay.
in your chosen field.
Right.
Excelling in your undergraduate studies is key.
Sure.
But it goes beyond just grades.
Okay.
You know, seek out research opportunities, maybe even present at a conference or two,
Oh, wow.
and start networking early.
Okay.
Connect with professors, go to seminars,
Yeah.
engage in discussions that push your thinking.
So really immerse yourself
Yes,
in the academic world,
absolutely.
even before you apply to grad school.
Exactly. And speaking of grad school,
Yeah.
choosing the right program is absolutely crucial.
Okay.
Research potential advisors,
Okay.
look at their publications. See if their expertise aligns with your own aspirations.
So find a good mentor.
A good mentor can make all the difference.
Yeah. I can imagine having
That's
someone
of value.
to guide you through
Right.
that maze of academia.
Absolutely. A supportive advisor can help you refine your research,
Okay.
open doors to networking opportunities,
Right.
provide valuable feedback along the way.
That's huge.
It is. And once you're in grad school, make the most of it.
Okay.
Don't just focus on coursework.
Yeah.
Seek out teaching opportunities. Hone your research and writing skills.
Yeah.
Really challenge yourself to grow.
So it's not just absorbing information. It's
Yeah.
about actively shaping your academic journey.
Exactly.
But let's say you've made it through grad school. You've got your PhD.
You've got the degree.
Now what? The job market's pretty daunting.
Right. It can be, even for brilliant minds.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important to start thinking about your long-term goals early on.
Oh, okay.
What type of institution do you see yourself at?
Yeah.
A research-heavy university,
Right.
a smaller teaching-focused college?
Right.
Do you envision yourself leading a lab
Uh-huh.
or mentoring students in a small seminar setting?
So many options.
Having a clear vision can help you tailor your experiences
Okay.
and make more strategic choices.
But it's also important to be adaptable.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
The job market can be unpredictable,
for sure.
and sometimes you have to be open to those unexpected opportunities.
That's a good point.
Right. Flexibility is key.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to network beyond your immediate field.
Okay.
Interdisciplinary collaborations are becoming increasingly common,
Yeah.
and broadening your horizons can lead to some really exciting and unexpected career paths.
That's great advice.
It's about being proactive, strategic, and maybe even a little bit adventurous.
Yeah, a little adventurous.
Right. And remember, there are tons of resources out there to help you navigate this whole process.
I bet, yeah.
I always recommend academicjobs.com.
Oh, yeah.
It's a fantastic website for finding open positions,
Oh?
researching different institutions,
Right.
even getting tips on crafting a killer cover letter.
That sounds like an essential bookmark
It is.
for any aspiring academic.
It's a great resource.
It's amazing how much information is available
It really is.
these days at our fingertips.
And that accessibility is opening up new possibilities within academia.
Okay.
It's no longer this closed-off world reserved for a select few.
Right.
There's more room than ever for diverse voices,
That's great.
perspectives, and ways of contributing to the pursuit of knowledge.
I think that's a perfect note to end on.
I agree.
We've gone from the big picture allure to the nitty-gritty realities.
We have.
And hopefully we've given our listeners a solid understanding
Yeah.
of what it takes to succeed
Absolutely.
in this challenging and rewarding field.
It's been a pleasure sharing this journey with you.
It has been great having you.
I always say a life dedicated to learning and teaching is never dull.
I bet.
It's full of challenges, of course,
Yeah.
but the rewards, the intellectual stimulation,
Right.
the chance to mentor future generations,
Right.
the joy of discovery,
It's amazing.
those are the things that make it all worthwhile.
Absolutely. And for those of you ready to take that next step,
Yeah,
remember to check out academicjobs.com.
it's a great resource.
It's your gateway to a world of academic possibilities.
It is.
Until next time, keep those intellectual fires burning.